Welcome back to the Elias Macko Show. Over the weekend, I spent some time in the Old Port. I went out for breakfast on Saturday morning. It was Canada Day, July 1st. And then after breakfast, went out for a walk, went for a stroll along the Old Port. And at one point, I look around, and in fact, you can see this video. It's on my Twitter, at Elias Mackos. You can see the video because I was looking around and I had just done a walk all points west, then came back towards the east. And I said, wait a minute, it's Canada Day, and I don't see any Canadian flags. There's no indication on the crown jewel of federal land in this city that it's our national special day. And I took some video, I posted online. It's been viewed now 47,000 times because I think a lot of people were struck by just how unpatriotic this federal land that is, is like I said, a gem, a jewel for us, was over the weekend. So the question I had with you this morning, boy, we got so many calls, is just how patriotic do we need to be? How patriotic does the federal government need to be? Provincial government, municipal government? Let's find out the take of one former politician, a former Liberal cabinet minister. You know him, you love him. David Heurtel is on the line. Hi, David.
Hi, Elias.
Happy Stat Holiday. David, what do you say? How patriotic does a government have to be? And I know some people pointed out, if you went to the clock tower, they had a cake. But, I don't know. It just seemed like on the one day, it just wasn't enough. What's your take?
Well, at the Old Port, there was a little stage near the clock tower, and there was some indication of that it was Canada Day. But I do agree with you that this is not a Canada Day that will go down in history as one of the most vibrant or patriotic in our history. The fact is that, first of all, patriotism comes from a lot of different sources. One of them is definitely the fact that, for example, you could look at our armed forces right now not involved in any hot conflict. The fact is also that we don't have any major sporting event, like the World Cup or the Olympics or anything going on that really unites us and brings us together as a country. And ultimately, also, the fact is that the current federal government has toned it down. Let's face it, especially in Quebec. And that's because of these two successive minority governments in Ottawa. And the fact is, let's face it, this government is looking towards yet another election, either this fall or in the spring, according to our best estimates, our best guesses. And I don't think this federal government wants to play up the Federalist card. But I would say at the same time, I don't see Quebec nationalism that strong either. Uh-huh. June 24th, to be fair, June 24th, yes, there were the shows, but all these shows are funded by the provincial government. Let's face it here. And the fact is that there was infighting within the nationalist forces. Remember the Quebec Solidaire, Parti Québécois.
Oh, my God,
with
yeah.
Emile Bilodeau.
Yeah.
And it's not like there's that much nationalist sentiment going on either. So I just think that with, post-pandemic, with the economy, with everything going on, I don't think there's a lot out there to be very patriotic about on both sides of the issue.
David, I thought that whole fiasco over La Fête Nationale, it was hilarious on so many levels. Like, Anglophones have often never felt welcome at Fête Nationale celebrations. And then to hear that a large swath of separatist Parti Québécois supporters were now also feeling unwelcome, I was like, this is hilarious. And then I had to think back to just how much liberals were unwelcome at Fête Nationale celebrations. Mm-hmm. Like remember Loco Locas, the artists, they would be like libérez-nous des libéraux, right?
Yeah.
It's so funny how these events become politicized here.
Yeah, well, it's about right think,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all about, if you're not with us, you're against us, and division and wedges, and exactly as you're saying. But with the nationalist issue, you have right now a big fight with the rise of the PQ in the polls. Now, and this is going to become more and more interesting, you have Quebec Solidaire and the Parti Québécois trying to fight each other now on who has the right to call itself the true independence party. And so this infighting is going to hurt ultimately both parties and help the CAQ maintain its core base. But again, look how divided we are. Mm-hmm. I mean, we still think, yes, the CAQ legislatively has a massive majority, but they just won with 41% of the vote. And on the other side, federally speaking, let's remember, the federal Liberals have won Quebec 3 elections in a row now.
Yeah, that's right.
And so it's not like there is consensus on the nationalist issue. And nationalism now is a lot like MAGA in the US. Nationalism is now becoming defined by Quebec nationalists as a very, very tiny group of Quebecers. It doesn't aim to unify all Quebecers, but just a very tiny swath of Quebec.
Which is why it's so important to keep a little bit of nationalism and pride for everyone so it doesn't fall into the hands of the most extreme. David, let me ask you this. You were a cabinet minister in a provincial Liberal government. When July 1st rolled around, was it, hey, c'est la fête du Canada en flèche du rouge, or was it like Ixnay on the Canada A?
Oh, no, there was no X-nay. No.
Okay.
No, I mean, we celebrated both. No, definitely. Canada Day was an important day, and we definitely celebrated them, especially, and the fact is that Canada Day is a much stronger patriotic day for newer Quebecers and newer Canadians. Mm-hmm. And especially me being an M&A in Saint Michel, I mean, Canada Day was a big day. It was a big deal. And no, definitely not. I mean, the government I was part of was proud to be both Canadian and Québécois, and we celebrated both days equally.
We got a couple of minutes here, David, so I just want to squeeze this one in. Canadian Press over the weekend publishing a piece that paints a devastating picture of the policy failures of Mayor Valérie Plante and the Projet Montréal administration on housing, on the Bluebonnet site that's been bare for 6 years. According to Pierre Boivin, who's apparently part of the solution that's being put forward now, but even Pierre Boivin saying that the city made it impossible to turn a profit. The Montreal Economic Institute coming out with numbers this morning that say the city's policies have led to 24,000 less housing units. What do you say, David? Do you think this could stand in the way of a third term for Valérie Plante?
Well, isn't it interesting? That's exactly what we discussed on the Big Five on Friday, Elias, after your interview with Valérie Plante on Thursday. I mean, the fact is that, and I when I read this report this morning, I mean, using the word disconnected, which is the word we talked about.
Yes.
and the fact is, Elias, here is that Valérie Plante is definitely in trouble on this issue. But again, Projet Montréal and Valérie Plante have chosen to be right rather than actually make substantial change on this issue. So they prefer to hold off on promoters, on density, on making things work on the housing issue. I mean, they could change everything with a few signatures. I mean, they could get housing starts going again, but they just don't want to. And we talked about the Bluebonnets fiasco. They've been at it for 6 years, and they can't get anyone to build anything there. They own the land. They control it. And so the fact is that if it's going to be an issue in the 2025 election, you're going to have to hear about the opposition. Elias, we've been talking about this issue for at least a month now, intensively, and we've talked about it before. Have you seen Aref Salem the last couple of weeks? Mm-hmm. Have you seen Alan D'Souza? Have you seen anybody from the opposition on this? I haven't seen him.
So we had a member of the opposition, Sonny Moreau, on this morning, and he was quite passionate about it. But your point is taken, David. And I think now for Ensemble Montréal, they need to figure out who their face is going to be in 2 years. And they have to make the decision, and they have to show them off for 2 years, right?
I mean, I'm nothing to. I know Sonny Moreau is a good city councilor, and I respect him. But again, what I'm talking about is intense media presence on this issue. You have to nail on it. You have to be on your show on CJD and the Gazette, everywhere, on CTV, on the French side, all the time on this issue.
Who is, you know what, I'm just trying to think, who would be that person that's so at ease in front of the cameras and is boisterous? And someone like Denny Coderre. Oh, wait, forget about that. David, we have to leave it there. Come back real soon. We'll catch you on Friday on the Big Five.
All right, take care, Elias.
That's the one and only David Heurtel. When we return on the Elias Macko Show, we're going to meet the Montreal man looking to break the world record for burpees for the second time. You're going to get that great story coming up next.